Okay, now let's begin with the intermediate level. Now that your falls are getting better, some of these motions are exaggerated so that you can see the direction of the force and how you're taking them off balance. Now, this particular hole that you have here now, I call this chicken wing because you can tear it out like you do a chicken wing when you eat it. So be careful. It doesn't take any strength. And watch your training partner. Make sure that when you see his body start to tighten up, you know that it's near there. And you'll notice that you haven't used any strength yet. So after you knock him down on a stomach punch here, you put both knees on either side of the shoulder. Put the hand on the elbow and turn him over. Both knees, one on each side of the shoulder. Put the little finger in the crook of the hand, crook of the elbow, with the palms up, and your hand going across your chest, and one across the elbow, and twist your body a little. Little. You will see his arms start coming out, his feet start coming up. That means that it's starting to hurt. So be careful. Do it slowly, and don't jerk. Just apply it gradually, gradually. You notice the fingers were coming up, slapping, telling you, hey, it hurts. So the power of Aikido is so strong, you can tear a guy's arm out or break it. But if you do it properly, with good timing, those things are not necessary. What do you think would happen one day if you just were hurting people for no reason at all, breaking their arms, throwing them around, and you send them to the hospital? Before you know it, someone's going to come after you with a shotgun or a AK-47. So let's learn to love and help each other. So this is what happens with Aikido, is harmonization. Harmonize with the other person. And because you're harmonized, you're stronger. And both persons should benefit from it. Walks around the head, put the hand on the elbow here, and turn him over. Don't pull, just keep walking. As you keep walking, your ki starts pulling him in. Aikido training is learning to be gentle, to be loving and kind. And we hope that one day it will be also where you won't have any ego. Ego can be self-destructive as well as hurting someone else. But remember, there are other people who are stronger and bigger. If that's what you're going to try to do, use strength and muscle. Aikido is not necessary because you're doing it the right way. I have taken over 36 pounds off of one fella. I'm going to take quite a few pounds more. I've taken as many as 20 pounds in 6 weeks. Aikido can be cardiovascular, can also be stress reducing. Also make your frustrating day a very enjoyable day by practicing good Aikido. Watch how the flow of energy in that last throw. The punch is coming at you. Don't stop it. Keep it going. Bring it down. When you bring it down, it must come up. Otherwise, he falls on his face. This is how you lead his mind. Join him. Don't stop him. Join him. And utilize that power. Learn to be mobile. This is why footwork practice must be natural and easy. Everybody can do it as long as they practice it. Now, Aikido can be used against any weapon. All the arts that you will learn can be used against any weapon. This is the same as you did when they were trying to strike you in the stomach. And you know that most people, if you throw them like that, they're not going to get up anyhow. At the same time, you have the knife. The force of that particular throw can be very, very hard. But because knowing how to fall well can save your life, in other activities, you will be able to survive and enjoy falling in Aikido. Your target is a half of your body, and if you twist, it will be half of that. Also, he has to come at least 3 or 4 feet while you just twist. If your ki is good, you will sense before he attacks you that he's going to come and attack you with a knife. That is ki training. If he strikes you, that's too late. You didn't have good ki. In slow motion, you will see that the thrower almost moves before the attacker does. This is ki in everything we do. We say, touch him with your ki, touch him with your mind. Did you notice the rhythm? This is very important. Not too many people talk about this. The only ones that I have seen or heard talk about these are the very, very high-ranking men. So pretty soon you will start sensing rhythm. When he went down, he wanted to stand up. So when he wanted to stand up, now you have him in position to give him Nikkyo. Nikkyo is painful if done correctly. When you use muscle, sometimes it won't work. Then there are other people who have no sense of pain. Now, these people must be careful because it breaks first before it hurts, and it may be days before all of a sudden he finds that, hey, my wrist hurts yet. And if they take an x-ray, they find that it's broken. Notice now he's coming up. So he went down, up, down. But it's like a basketball bouncing, isn't it? A basketball has a rhythm. Review these things over and over again, slowly. These arts take practice, discipline, patience. Down. Step back and down. Up. Now as you go up, you bring it all the way down. Grab the elbow, hook the elbow, and bring him to near your armpit and chest. His elbow is already bent. Now softly, now don't grab tightly at the hand. Now come down and just scoop it towards your elbow, and that brings him down. And as he stands up, it's easy to flip over. In order for someone to become good at these things, you must pass this on. Give it to someone else. And once you give it to someone else, it goes into your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is only 12% of your mind. With your subconscious mind, like your heartbeat, your eyes blinking, many things are done by your subconscious mind. They are automatic. They're fast. And this is what happens when you practice over and over again. But also, to get it into your subconscious mind, you must help somebody else. And when you can only help someone to learn something and only can spend 1 minute and said he knows it all, it means that your knowledge is only 1 minute's worth. Whereas if you know it, it could be hours worth, hours, just doing one movement. But don't try to give him all the hours worth of knowledge at one time. The other thing about Aikido, when teaching Aikido, everything is loving and kind. Teach kindly. Don't say, that's wrong, that's terrible. Nobody needs that. What happens when you say that? Instead of opening his mind, you're closing his mind. He's resisting you. You must learn to be able to say, find something good and say, hey, that's good. Now, do this and it will be better. So that's training of Aikido, but also there's this people skills, learning how to deal with people. Corporations send their top executives to seminars to learn about people skills. Through Aikido and training of others, you will develop people skills. How to get the most out of their abilities. So Aikido is not just throwing and being thrown. But a complete way of living. And above all, to be loving and kind to everyone and everything. This one is Nikyo also, only this is Tenkan, turning. So you're doing a hopping exercise back. Now as you raise it up, you will do a turning exercise. And then hook his elbow and draw it in. And do Nikyo like you did before. I did this film because I think that Aikido needs to be presented to the world. And for it to even grow, where you must have huge children's classes. Children's classes are what helps pay the rent. Children's classes are where you learn about people, because children are honest. They tell you whether they like you or not. They'll tell you whether your ways are not very likable. Adults won't say anything, but they may not have anything to do with you. So when you can make children love you, then that means that you're doing a good job of Aikido. So hop back. This grip that you have here at the beginning is called Ikkyo. Then you're going to flip it over. And as you raise it up, you must raise it up first so that you can go under and turn. We use the term open the door. Now go under or go through so that you can go to the other side. Doing a turning exercise. Now put your hand inside the elbow from the top and draw them back in. Now if you do this rhythmically, then it will come up by itself. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. If you can do a solo exercise by yourself, the hopping exercise, and then turning exercise, then you will start developing the rhythm to go. And you notice the thrower always becomes the center of the circle. And the attacker becomes the outside. And so centrifugal force takes care of him. Now this is the same as a variation. Very easy to do. A hopping exercise. Flip it over. Change hands. The left hand going behind the hand, grabbing the finger on the little finger side of his palm. Then the other hand grabs the fingers. Now softly. These are good sequences. Notice how he comes right across and gets the grip very easily. Then come under his elbow with the hand, raise it up, and turn it in a little bit so that it has a little bit of pain. The pain is just to remind him, please come. Now when someone, if it works on everybody else and someone says it doesn't hurt, now just be careful because you might really break it for him. I had a student that believe, but he wouldn't believe. So one day, or several days later after one practice, he told his mother, my wrist hurts. Because he didn't believe. She took him to the doctor and it was broken. So after that, he started to believe. So for some students who have no pain, you can handle him well. If your technique is good, also you don't need the pain. But the beginning is to teach you that there is some control point. So if he goes too far, then the pain will hurt him. If you do it fast enough, there's no time for pain. You can just throw him right away. This is a rather simple one for beginners. learn to do your falls well. And you notice that the thrower kind of floats with the attacker, just goes in the same direction as he does, maintaining his balance, whereas the faller will go off balance and then all you do is chop it down. So, in this case, the left hand will be grabbing his wrist. The right hand will either grab his wrist or go across and cut across his elbow, which will shorten the radius of his posture and make him lean down. So practicing Aikido with all its movements correctly in the right direction will make it automatic for whatever else you might do. That's beautiful. And effortless. The thrower must learn to always be in balance, centered, and it is effortless. So you can go from a throw right into a pin. These tapes have been edited and produced by Panther Productions. They have done a great job with it, and I want to thank them. This particular throw is called Tenchi, or heaven and earth. One hand goes to the ground and one goes to the heavens. Now earlier we had a rowing motion exercise which takes him off balance. So we clap, or in this case we drop. Same thing. One is down so that his right heel will be on the ground, so he can't move. And then the other hand, the right hand, goes on the inside and up. And you'll notice that the attacker's grip becomes weak. Look at his elbow comes up. That becomes weak. Now watch his his wrist. And his wrist now is in a bent position, so it's even weaker. Although the grip is good, the arm position becomes weaker. In this case, here he is hopping back, dropping, and then doing the same throw. So what you have done is drawn him into making his body keep coming and then stopping his head from going forward. Momentum has kept his feet going forward, and that's how he falls. Now here is some mental challenge. Now you make him feel that you're going to hit him with your shoulder, but now you make him stand up. By that time, you've made his head stop going forward, but his legs kept on going. So we call this mental challenge, to challenge him mentally to do something. Now a lot of you say that can't be done, but you buy things because you see it on TV, you buy things because you read it in a magazine, so your mind is controlled. Now, these particular throws should only be done by the advancements until you've really mastered the falls, because they can knock your wind out. I'm not trying to frighten you, except that I want you to make sure that once you know, in order to know how to throw, you must know how to fall well. And this is what I do first. I teach you how to fall first, then we do the particular throw that requires that falling. Now this is hand behind the neck. I bring the shoulder up and the head, and that locks his hand into the crook of my neck here, and bring him down. And then we have the chicken wing there. As you notice, the hands are always relaxed. It means that full power can be used or flowing out of your body. When your hands are tight, it means that you cut off your energy source, and therefore you have to rely on muscle. Now, 110-pound young lady can't do anything to a man that weighs 200 if she has to rely on muscle. Here is a form of leading his mind. It's an exercise, timing exercise also. By the time you're about ready for these kind of throws, I would recommend that you try to come to the seminars so that you will be able to do it properly and to teach your group how to do it properly with a minimum amount of aches and pains. Notice here, the body kept on going, but the head had to stop. It's a good way of the uke to learn how to fall. Relax and fall. Notice the head is still there. Now if I lift my hand there, actually, see, he would have got it in the nose. Now this is a two-hand grab, and notice the power goes, the hip part. The hand doesn't do any pulling until the hip has fully extended that arm. So what we do is we say we take out the slack. Without taking out the slack, we cannot do anything. This is, again, you must have someone who knows about this, who has felt this, teach you how to do this. It's a feeling you can't talk about, but must feel. Now these are one finger techniques to prove to you that muscle cannot do it. But also, your movements have to become skillful. But these movements are very, very easy. It just takes time to teach you. And once you're taught, it's easy. Now this is a form of maybe getting your finger out or taking a weapon out sometimes. So you don't see me pulling him yet. My body weight had moved him to go off balance a little bit. And once he's off balance a little bit, he's going to go that way. Now at this level, I would recommend that you get in touch with Panther Productions about coming to a summer seminar, because this is how you will learn how to do this and feel the power, and also get thrown by someone that knows what's happening, then you will be able to do it very easily. I have taught over 20,000 students, Judo and Aikido students. I taught 8 years at the University of California, Santa Barbara, Judo. And then we had a club that did Aikido. So we had a lot of time to learn. And you learn from students. You also learn from children. You don't always learn from someone that's good. Sometimes they might backlead too much. You need everybody, and you will learn. Now with this movement, I'm creating centrifugal force going around in a circle to take him off balance. Now if I don't do this finger properly, it'll break off. But if it's right, there's no effort and tremendous power. throughout my travels, I've seen that falling techniques have been neglected. But that is what frees your mind to be able to think and use ki in your throws. One young man was a black belt in judo, and he wanted to get a scholarship to go to UCSB for judo, but nobody gives scholarship for judo. But anyhow, he said he went to Japan and they told him to practice falling. He says, well, I know how. Well, they asked him twice, and the third time they said, okay. And they put somebody on him, threw him so fast that he couldn't slap. And this is what happens with Aikido. They'll throw you so fast. So we have a training method of doing all of these falls. Now this particular throw, again, become the center of the circle, create centrifugal force. Again, I wouldn't recommend these throws. And when you see how easy it is, in fact, sometimes it's easier to throw like this because you're doing it correctly. Now here's a variation of two-hand grab. Crossing your hands across. And doing a form of kotegaeshi. So when you go across, instead of lifting up, push across. And the bicep doesn't come into effect. When the bicep comes into effect, you can stop him. It's the down motion. Then when you try to take that the hand out, go in the direction of the fingers, because that's the way ki goes, and it will come out. But if you go against, it becomes tighter. It becomes like a Chinese handcuffs where you stick your finger in the end and you can't pull it out. It's tighter and tighter. So these kinds of falls we do at the end of the evening when the advanced work together. Now, Aikido can be used against any weapon. And in the next tape, we will do some weapons and advanced one-on-one. I have found it interesting myself to see what we have put into these films. And I think that you will get tremendous knowledge from watching these tapes. Good luck.